Welcome, guys, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Bedsore, this new album, Dreaming the Strive for Love, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we started by asking, how are you doing today? How is the band during the last 4 years? Because your previous album was released in 4 years ago.
Yep. Yep, we had our first LP 4 years ago, and it went surprisingly well. That allowed us to go further and further with the development of our idea of music. We made another important step with the split EP with Mortal Incarnation, but I think that the final step forward has been done with this new album that we can say that it represents our whole identity as musicians, as a band, and represents in the best way possible the way we meant to do our music. So the way we mix, or we try at least, to mix influences from the 70s prog rock with death metal and even with most groovy stuff. So I think that the band had a very good development evolution, starting 4 years ago, and since now. And I think there will be even further evolutions, but at the moment we are quite satisfied. But I don't know, maybe if Giulio wants to add something more than me.
No, I second everything that Davide said. And yeah, I think too that this new album has been a huge step forward for the band, and it's exactly what we represents exactly what we had in mind from the beginning of this project.
Okay, okay. Talking about now this from this new album, when do you start writing songs for this new one? And all the songs new, or do you rescue any composition that left were off for the previous album, or for the EP, for example?
No,
Split.
we have an archive with some drafts and some riffs, some ideas. So we rescued something from there, but there aren't like entire songs or pieces that can be used for a later moment. There are just ideas, suggestions of any kind, and yes, something is readable around. Yes, the hypnagogic hallucinations era, but of course it's been rearranged, and I mean it's something like we have a hint from this old idea, but then we develop something totally different. The songwriting process took around 1 year or so, so 2023 mostly. And we ended it like 90% at the end of 2023. And we decided to hit the studio. Then the other 10% is, of course, made in the studio during the recordings. So basically, the whole songwriting process took 1 year and a half, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting to know. And how do you feel about this new release compared to your previous one, which came out during a difficult time due to the pandemic because there's no live shows, presentations. We just
Yeah.
need to hear the music by online, Spotify.
Yeah. Maybe as I was telling you during the first question, we are very, very happy with this release just right now, just since the beginning. So, and For sure, the hypnagogic hallucination release have been very difficult, but we had good response from many people, even from the 20 backspin itself. That helped us a lot. And we are very happy that Dave 20 backspin confirmed again his trust in our project, in our band, also for this new album. And but we feel that this new release will be way better under every point of view, starting from the promotion and going on with visibility and ending up with the quality of the product itself. It's we think that this album will be, at least for the band, quite game changing. Let's say so. We are 100% confident that we are sending out a very good product. Not easy listening, not an easy listening one, but surely a good one. Probably the people who are approaching our new album will need some time to understand every singular part of the album, of the whole album. But we are sure that if they are able to start and end and finish the album in a single row, let's say in a single run, let's say so, they will understand the story that's behind the whole songs. They will understand the process and the changement that we are trying to express with this new music, and we believe they will totally lost themselves in the music. That at the end it's what we are trying to do best with this album. We are trying to make the people totally lost their perception of what's around them, and let them totally immerse in the music and in the experience we are trying to give with the songs, and also with the video we put on YouTube some days ago.
Okay. Your debut also received, as you said, Davide, 2 times, received great reviews. After such a successful debut, do you feel any pressure to surpass what you did on that album with this second one? Have there been any changes in your songwriting process compared to your debut?
Yeah, there have been a lot of
Yes.
changes in the songwriting, and I think that Giulio can answer you this question way better, because he was he has been very involved even in the guitar stuff. I can only speak about drums, because that's what I play. And talking about drums, I can tell you that for sure, since the beginning, we used a different approach, because for hypnagogic hallucinations, we just made a sort of back and forth with digital files, and we tried to put together the best version of each file, let's say so. Instead, this time, we met each other since the beginning, and we tried to write parts, both guitars and bass and drums, together, trying to, especially for the rhythmic session, trying to make each other understand our point of view, so that we could fit what the other guys wanted to express in the best way possible. Talking about the technical point of view of drums, I didn't use only a death metal approach, obviously, even though there are parts that are obviously inspired by a death metal approach. there are a lot of blast beats and double bass, but I tried to insert a lot of groove in this album, many let's say so odd times that are trying to follow some melodies that are not so evident without me that without following them with another instrument, let's say so. And so I tried to work like I did never before for making the all the songs in the best way possible. Not only because I wanted to not in the way that I want to put a blast beat here, so I put that blast beat here, not thinking about what the song really needs. So I tried to understand what the music needed and tried at my best to work for it. Then Giulio will will answer you for the rest.
Yeah, sure. Continuing the speech of Davide, basically, Hypnagogic Hallucination was a death metal album with some prog influences. This is, on the other side, a prog album with some death metal and metal influences. We didn't start with the idea, okay, let's do something heavy. We started with the idea of doing something prog rock, something groovy, and then we added some death metal and even black metal at some point. But yeah, basically, as Davide said, we changed the point of view on many things. First of all, I think for the first time in my career, let's call it career, we started from keyboards and not only, at least from guitars, which is a little bit unusual, at least for metal. We started with some orchestration or even like for Realm delle Peride, some riffs made by Stefano with the Hammond, and that was the basis of the song of the whole songwriting of this album. So there has been a totally different approach. We adapted all the tones, sounds to sound in order to sound prog and not metal. Even though in the end we used, of course, what we know about metal. So we made some catchy riffs and so on because it is our taste, of course, but also it's not our only taste and our only idea behind an album. And basically, this explains all the development of the band and of us as musicians from 2019, 2020 until now.
Okay, interesting to know. So, and talking about the reception of these new albums being until this moment, because how do you feel the reception of your fans and the press to this new album has been so far? What have the reviews been like for you? Do you usually read reviews or criticisms that are uploaded online, and how do you take it?
Yes, we had a huge response, surprisingly, because we never gave it for granted that an album that is not really an easy listen, like Davide said, could receive so much attention and so many reviews, so many interviews, so many um, listen, because of course we are even looking at the numbers, of the views and so on. And of course, it's been really a positive surprise, meaning that people is interested. Not everyone, of course, like uh, everything, but it's part of the game, of course. But we are getting so many positive responses, both from websites and also from pe people, random people on the internet, uh, casual people on the internet, um, and also on physical reviews. We are featured on this month Decibel magazine reviews with very good evaluation and positive words. So we are more than happy about this.
Okay, okay. And now, talking about the promotion of this new album, what kind of plans do you have for this new one? Perhaps tours, you will release videos, or perhaps you already work in a new album, especially. So, in general, what plans do you have for Bedsore and this new album?
So, for the new album, as I said before, we already published a video in collaboration with Costin, a great artist who helped us during this process of creation, let's say so. And we also thank him. Um, we are also obviously trying to promote the new LP with some gigs. For sure, there are some festival in during summer. We have already a couple confirmed, and we are trying to set up some tours, European tours, but are not gonna unveil anything so that we don't have to repent after a few days, let's say so. Scaramantic stuff, you know. And by the way, there will be for sure many gigs. We want to push as more as we can, as much as we can, and we are for surely interested in festivals, so we will try to play in as many festivals as we can, and probably we will even try to to take our music in Italy. That it's not an easy stuff, but we are working on it as well. Um, and I think that's it. I don't know if Giulio has any other information that wants to add.
No, yeah, I think you covered everything.
Okay, okay, interesting, and interesting to know about the promotion of the new album. It's interesting to know. So one thing I want now talking about other kind of topics. Yeah, we spoke about the band, about the conception of the band, how do you the new progress in the sound of Bedsore, and now we are talking about one thing that is usually connected when you create music in the progressive side of the progressive side of the music, because when you think and let's talk about this because as usually when you create music, you talk about feelings, sensations that the musician create at the moment that the reps appears in their mind, in your minds, etc. But at the time when you compose, usually the area of maths is very involved with the process of composition. So you have your feelings, and the other side you have your the mathematical concept of the create music. I mean, when you create a riff, you feel the riff, but at the same time you put numbers. Three numbers to the riff, four riffs for this riff, these parts with the blast beats. You need to do like 300 beats per minute, so etc etc. You have always thinking and the feelings and the mathematical concept to create the music. So for this question, so how do you relate the feeling when these completely sensations of the musician, when with the mathematical concept to create music, which part is the most important part to create music, the mathematical or the sensation when you create music?
Um, I, with no doubt, will tell you the sensation and the
Yeah.
feelings because yeah, basically Bedsore and our project has never been so really mathematical, meaning that we exactly put like on paper the structure of the songs or the BPMs of the songs. We don't use live click tracks. We use click tracks, of course, as hint during the recordings, but it's not a strict like a strict boundary
Rhythm. Yeah.
because of course we like the natural development of the. I mean, we noticed that using too much mathematics in music it's a little bit. I mean, it's against the flow of the music itself. At least in our case, for our music.
Yeah.
Basically, for example, for the recordings, Davide recorded with a click track, but then yeah, we all recorded with a click track, but in some parts we followed drums, not click tracks.
Yeah.
So everything is, of course, like fractions and numbers, but it's not our main purpose to make it fractions and numbers.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Now talking about other kind of topics, usually with the Italian scene, is that usually the Italian scene since the 90s has a stronger scene talking about it, especially for the technical, the music, progressive, the music. And when you talk about something about Davide, about when you try to you incorporate in this new album elements from the 60s and 80s rock, progressive rock. I remember one band that plays like that in the 90s or at the middle or the end of the 90s is Will of Wisp, a band that mix a lot of death metal with a lot of influence from Jethro Tull, Frank Zappa, Pink Floyd, so this stuff. So how do you I always think so. Usually, technical death metals from 90s in Italy are the stronger way. So why always the Italian scene is very related with the progressive or technical? Because in the 70s and 80s, Italy has a stronger progressive rock scene.
Yeah.
Yes, basically I mean that's a big heritage of this um, prog scene. As you mentioned, even Will-O-Wisp, even though they didn't have so much success, at least in Europe, or I don't know if they are still active or not, honestly. But yeah, I think that that part of heritage is, of course, something that it's in a way something that we have to deal with, and we would like, in this sense, to pay a tribute on it. And it's especially linked to 70s, 80s prog because Italy was like one of the most representative countries musical wise in this field. It's something that I think many bands face, at least here in Italy. Of course, someone choose to do something else, and someone else choose to pay this kind of tribute.
Mm, okay. Okay. Okay, interesting to pointing to know. And now, as you can see, there is a lot of band releasing albums per weekend. It's impossible to follow one a band. So in one aspect, for me, is very interesting to see more limits in the music, more bands that push it up the sounds of the 80s, 90s, or that is special sounds with the new elements, etc., etc. But at the same time, for a lot of people or a lot old musicians, this is too saturated to see because it's very difficult to catch the attention for one band, especially. You just need to focus on two or one songs of one and then follow the next one, etc., etc. So, for you, what is your point of view about this topic now in the metal world that we have more than, I don't know, 50 or 60 releases per weekend? It's impossible to follow. And is this? Do you think that this affect the career of Bedsore when you are relative a new band?
Yeah, that's the like in everything, that's the good and the bad of internet and modern technology. So basically, everyone can do his own stuff with a with a good result, like good production and so on, and put it on internet. So we have quantity over quality sometimes, but I think that there is even so much quality in many cases. So I think that's it. Yeah, it's an important theme um, to talk about, but honestly, uh, I think that if a band is good enough, doing having a precise idea of his music and doing like things properly as it's supposed to be. Um, and like in our case, like we are all focused on our work, on our music, trying to do what we like more than what we are supposed to do or what we think that other people will like. I think that there will be always a good response and a good audience.
Oh, okay, okay. And now talking about one of the last questions for this interview, Giulio and Davide. As you can see now, there's a lot of things happen when you try to see the option of technical or progressive stuff in this topic. And a lot of people saying that the technical death metal is more difficult than from the normal death metal like Entombed, Cannibal Corpse, the Side, the first era of death metal in general. So, but in general, when you hear for the first time more the Angel, at that time, I was there. I considered that play a song from Northern Angel, it was so difficult to play in guitar and drums, etc., etc. But the people now selected or separate the ways with the death metal, with technical death metal or progressive death metal. So for you, do you think the technical or progressive death metal is more technical than usual death metal from the 90s or for the great bands? Because for me, it is the same. Death metal always be brutal. Death metal always be technical. Always was technical since the beginning.
Yeah, let's say, metal is always technical because you need to maintain a certain standard. For example, talking about your physical shape, talking about drums, for example, and you have to be trained to play certain grooves, certain riffs, and you have to train even your resistance, your stamina, let's say so. So I think that on under a certain point of view, we have um, the same stuff because there is all we got blast beat during the 90s and we got blast beats now. But I think that what changes is the way you have to play that, because I think that nowadays there is a sort of way of thinking the metal music that consists in, okay, it's not enough if it's not faster than a certain BPM, it's not enough. So I I sometimes see that there is a sort of competition between musicians to do the fastest stuff. And I think that we started in considering the prog side of music, even because of this, because the four of us um, we didn't agree with this kind of interpretation of music. So we think the most important thing is to express something, to communicate something, and not only to go as fast as someone can. So yes, I think that we got. I think that both of the answers are correct, because there is a sort of progression, let's say so, and but also a still situation for the 90s, for example, and for the actual music.
So, well, guys, we
No
came
problem.
to the sad moments of this interview. I hope you enjoyed this interview like me. This new album is a
Yeah,
great one. Congratulations on this new one. And
thank you.
perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metalero followers?
Yeah, first of all, we would like to thank you for this moment, for the space you gave us, and we would like to thank all the guys who follow us, who will listen to our music. Um, we enjoyed a lot this interview, and we thank you once again. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having
Um,
us.
so,
Thanks for having us. And yes, the album is available from today because today is the release day, the official
yeah,
release day. And it's you can listen to it on every platform online. And if you like it, purchase from the 20 bucks pin channels and websites.